Hi folks, and welcome to my top 10 board games of all time. Yes, we're finally here, the final video you've been watching this whole month. Can you believe it's been a month? Actually, I started this on November 30th, but basically a month. You've been watching and you've been waiting and you want to know what my top 10 are. Well, here we go. We have some old ones that have been in there for a couple of years now. We have a lot of new ones, and at number 10, we have a brand new game that made the top 10. Folks, remember, I rank games conservatively, so a game to just enter my collection and then make the top 10 on the first try is very rare. That's why I like to think of this game as first class. Basically, this is, if you think about it, it's a card drafting game as you're drafting cards and building your train, moving it along a bonus path track, or moving your conductors up these two train box cars, improving those box cars to get you more points every round. The game goes 3 big rounds where there's I guess 3 different phases or ages where you have turns in between. And the first round, you're not going to get that many points at all. The second round, you'll get a few more. And the third round, you'll just be zipping around that board left and right. This is from a creator, I can't think of his name right now, but I really am loving his stuff. First Class is just a great train game. I see this game for super cheap too. And it is a treasure, let me tell you. It is such a treasure. I do have the little mini expansions. I don't think they're that hard to get. You can get them for pretty cheap too. And we play with them all the time. Now, First Class also has these little card pack expansions that can change up the game too, and I bought those as well. And every time, depending on what letters you're playing with, I think the letters go from A to G now, and whichever letters you are playing with, you're gonna have a great time because it always changes up the dynamics of the game, what you're gonna be doing. And I don't even know, some of them, I have a few I like. Let me see, A and B and what's C? I do like C too. I don't know, there's a lot of them I like. And I'll mix and match this one with that one, or just have them pick 2 random cards and throw them in the deck. And as you go through this game several times over, your strategy will always change. Different people go different methods, and they can all work. Again, I like a game where there's different paths to victory. The only thing we had to change, we did do a house rule, and I think I mentioned it in my review. When I reviewed this game, I've had this game most of the year, if not all year long. I think I bought it maybe late last year, and it's still getting to the table. It is still impressing me. That's why I had to rank it in my top 10. I think at first I probably wouldn't have put it in the top 10, but as I kept playing it, as it kept coming out, I kept realizing, I said, I really love this game. I look forward to playing this game again. I played it just about a month ago, I think. Before making this list, I played this game again, and it's just so great. It's such a great game. You can get it for, even if you don't get all the little mini expansions that go with it, it's still phenomenal. First Class, my number 10. Number 9 is the greatest game from Queen Games, my last Queen Games I'm going to mention on this list, and it's also Stefan Feld. It's Amerigo. Oh, Amerigo has a cube tower. You're dropping colored cubes in there. Cubes are coming out, and you're taking actions based on what color cube and how many the most of one cube was. So for instance, if red, green, and yellow came out, but there were 5 yellow, 2 blue, and 3 red. Well, then you could take a green and do 5 actions, because yellow had 5, they had most cubes. And with these cubes, you can do several different things in the game. You're trying to bounce out through them by discovering islands, by building on those islands, by collecting resources or bonuses, or tiles that you can later on build later on. Man, oh man, what a beautiful game. It came out with a reprint about a year or so ago, so I think it's easily available. And I have all the Queenies, and the Queenies you don't have to play with. You can have fun without the Queenies. I wouldn't say they're necessary. In fact, we sometimes don't put them in our games. I don't think this year I used, that may be a lie. I may have put a few of the Queenies in there, but you can play without them and still have a great game. That cube tower, I just can't get over. Not all the cubes will will fall through. There's kind of these plastic little holes that sometimes they'll just fall into plastic. They won't fall through the hole. That's the whole point. When you're pouring other cubes in there, it'll knock out those old cubes. So you don't even know what colors could come out and what options you may have each round. Smart game. This is Stefan Feld's masterpiece to me. I don't know if it can get any better for him. And then, of course, Queen Games. This is the highest rated game in my collection from Queen Games, and for good reason too. It is outstanding. Amerigo, my number 9. At number 8 is a game I've had in my collection for years, and it finally cracked the top 10. I knew it would. It was always sitting on the outside looking in, and now it's finally here, and look out, because it's going to give the rest of these games a run for its money. It is Long Shot. Long Shot is a horse racing game where you are betting, buying, or playing cards on horses to get them around that track. This game has all the action of a horse race. You can win the game and not have any of your bought horses place, as long as you place bets. One person was really smart, really smart. Here's what they did. They noticed that I'd bought this horse, and I was doing everything I could, playing any cards to move that horse forward. So every round, they started putting bets on this horse. And then they started playing cards to help my horse. I didn't know what they were doing. I was like, what are you doing? I'll take that. I'm glad my horse is winning. And then when it crossed the no bets area, I realized I had maybe like $15 on it, and the other person had 40. So I was trying to stop my horse from scoring because they were going to win the game. But they kept pushing my horse forward, and my horse won, and I knew immediately that other person won. Smart move there. And make sure you keep aware of who owns what horses and how much money you can bet on them. It's all about finding the right horse and betting more money than the other person. That's how you can get the most points. But this horse racing game, it hits the table numerous times a year. Now, I remember the the designer reached out to me a few years ago and told me he was doing a reprint. And then crickets ever since then. I emailed him last year, said, hey, any news about that reprint? Nothing. So I guess it just fell through. But, if you can get a copy of Long Shot, you may have to pay a little bit for it, but it is such a great game. Even my wife, who does not like newer board games, will always play Long Shot with me. Another reason it's in my top 10 now, because anyone will play this game and everyone will definitely have fun. Long Shot, my number 8. Number 7 was a game, I think it broke the rules last year, and it was one of the first games, new games, to enter my top 10. Well, it's staying in the top 10, is Russian Railroads. Oh, love Russian railroads. I got to play Russian, German, and American railroads this year, and I just can't get enough of this game. Now, it is true that the same designer for Russian railroads was the designer for First Class, which is the reason I even got First Class. I tried it out because I said, what other games did this guy create? And I saw First Class. I was like, well, I'll get it. And of course, his other game is number 10. These games are very close together here, but I'd have to say Russian Railroads is the better game. And that's sad because it's out of print. It costs like $1 billion. It costs a lot to get it. Not $1 billion, but you know what I mean. It's very expensive. And it's sad too because it's such a just an incredible game with so many options. It's worker placement, one of my favorite mechanisms in a game. And German railroads, I played with it. The coal, we didn't use, I think, at all this turn. So I don't know if German, I know German goes for the most on the secondhand market, but I don't know if it's worth getting because it's the one we least enjoy as a game group. I'll tell you one that's very underrated is the American railroads. I mean, every time we play that, it changes the game. It makes you focus on pushing your railroads out, which is what America was trying to do, make that continental connection, right? And so you're basically just trying to lay as much track as you can, and the game wants you to do that. It's very thematic that way, and very different from Russian railroads, which is a great game too. I love Russian railroads too. I don't know, maybe American railroads is my favorite out of the three. That's kind of weird to say, but I think it may be. But anyway, whichever one you get, these railroad games, you have to have Russian railroads to play the other ones, but Russian railroads is just a game of excellence. I've always wanted a train game. Now I don't need any other ones except for First Class, I guess, which is also good. First Class is the poor man's Russian railroads. That's dissing First Class, though. First Class is really great too, but Russian railroads just beats it out by a few spots on my list here at number 7. Number 6 is a game that I remember when it first debuted. It debuted at 11, I think, and now it has a permanent home in my top 10 because I play it all year round. That's odd because Santa's Workshop is the game I'm talking about here, where you are elves creating toys for kids at Christmas. Well, I play this game around the holidays. Of course I do, but I'll play it at any time, and my wife will play it with me because she knows that's the one time I break the rule that you can play Christmas music when it's before Thanksgiving. I don't do that. I'm very harsh on that rule. But if we're playing Santa's Workshop, I will allow Christmas music to be played, even if it's in July. Santa's Workshop is a wonderful game. It's by Rio Grande Games. You got to get you a copy. I think they're available on their website. Buy it. Great game. I've come out with 2 fan expansions for this. One I came out about last month. I put it out the video, and if you go on the site, you'll see both of my expansions up there. You don't have to use them, but that just tells you how much I love this game. I really do. I've talked to the designer before. I begged him for an expansion. He said he had some ideas, but Rio Grande hasn't approached him about making anything new for this game. I guess it just didn't sell as well, but that is a shame because it is a super duper game. You will honestly, it's very thematic for the Christmas season, but even if you're seeing this now and it's past Christmas, you should still check it out. As it's a worker placement game, of course. I love worker placement, but just each one of your elves you can send to school, and you can train them in something to be better at something, at 2 somethings. In fact, they have to be different, but 2 different things, and so that makes these workers extra special on where you place them as well. So there's a lot to love about this game, and I wish it was more popular, only for us to see an expansion to it, because my fan expansions are nice. They're simple, but they're nice. But I bet he can come up with something much grander than I can. So Santa's Workshop, my number 6. Speaking of worker placement, have I talked about my number 5 lately? Viticulture. Love Viticulture. In Viticulture, you are making wine. You're building up your own vineyards, getting better equipment to help plant, to help showcase your wine, to help store your wine. And if you have the Tuscany expansion, which you have to have when you play this game, the Tuscany expansion all the way, I'll never play without Tuscany. In fact, I almost put a picture of Tuscany up here because that's really what I play with. And there's even the Agriculture, whatever expansion that you can get on some website. I can't remember, a long time ago. I got it, and I'll even play with that. Either doing the cows and the cheese one, which I love, or getting the or flipping it over and doing the other one where you got the I think it's the oil, the apple, and something else that you're doing. I don't know. Either way, though, I love Viticulture. It's such a great game. It looks really sleek. It looks elegant on your table. It's well done components. This is Stonemaier Games' masterpiece. I don't think they've ever made a game better than Viticulture. I've played some of their other ones, and Viticulture just blows everything away still. I know they came up with some card expansions a while back, and I've gotten everything. I mean, I play with everything. Like I said, you can't play with Arboriculture, I can't remember how to say that. With that expansion, you can only play, it's double-sided, so you can play with one side or the other. But I will always play with one side or the other too, because it's just offers more choices. In fact, I only did it once. And it wasn't this year, it was like a year or so ago. I won the game and didn't sell one bottle of wine. How is that possible? You can do that well, I sold wine regular bottles, but I didn't do a contract. A contract's what you really want. So much to love about this game. I cannot tell you it all, but if you do get Viticulture, go ahead and get Tuscany. At the very least, get that. I got the metal coins too. I got everything for this game. This is a deluxe game. I think I even put them in one of those Crown Royal felt bags, the coins in there, because I want everything to sound elegant. I don't even drink wine, and Viticulture is still at the top of my list. I think it's always been in my top 10. It varies where it goes, but here it is, still in the top 5 at number 5. My number 4 came as a surprise to me because I was like, wow, do I really love this game? I thought about it, I was like, yeah, I think it is number 4 because it's just that good. It's Empire's Age of Discovery. Whew. It is kind of worker placement, but you're placing these workers that can do different things on the board to give you bonuses or give you extra workers for the next round or give you trade tokens that will give you money, or just put them out and explore different worlds, or take them out and explore, be the first to uncover and discover new land on expeditions. There's a lot you can do in this game, and it makes the game just epic. Now, there's another version of this, a sci-fi re-theme, which has a few different rules called Galactic Rebellion. We played Galactic Rebellion this year too, and I really like Galactic Rebellion. I think I like Empire's Age of Discovery better, but I would put both of these games on my list at this point. You're like, whoa, Galactic Rebellion, Matt? That's a game you can get for really cheap, and people don't like it as much, I think, of Empire's Age of Discovery, but for me, it's just a space age version with a Senate that lets you decide certain laws, which I think is pretty cool. It has this big battle at the end, which I think is really awesome. So I love Galactic Rebellion. It is still new for me. Empire's Age of Discovery I've had for a couple of years, and I just think that is just a great, great game with so many options in there to do. And the more players you have, the more fun it is. And that may be what's pushed it up, because I played with 4 or 5 players. No, it had to be 5 or 6. Goodness gracious, did I play with 6 players? I don't know, but I absolutely loved it at that amount too, because the board gets really tight, and so you're kind of limited on what you can do, and it's so much fun. Either one of these, you want to try out Galactic Rebellion, you probably should. If you like Empire's Age of Discovery, I think you'd love Galactic Rebellion. It changes a few things that Empire's Age of Discovery doesn't have, and I like those changes too. But both of these games are awesome. That's why they are combined number 4 on my list. Number 3 is a game I've had in my collection almost since the very beginning. It was one of those, this was the game, the next step game, I guess you could say, that opened up my eyes. When I used to play Zombies, my gateway game all the time, that's all I played. And then I played a game called Firefly. Firefly is pick up and deliver. That's all it is. And yet, it's always been in my top 5 ever since I've had it. And every time I bring it out again, I'm thinking, is it really going to hold up from the last few times I've played it? And it has. Now, one of my goals that I, hopefully by the time this video posts, that I've already done, is have a total of 9 players play the whole galaxy of Firefly. Oh, that would be fun. That game, ooh, if I did that, this game may even rise higher. I mean, seriously, it is that fun of a game. And I know Gale Force 9 is basically done with making expansions for this game. I still think they could make one more mini expansion. They haven't done anything with 2x2 Hands of Blue or the bounty hunter from the movie. There's a few characters they haven't explored yet that I'd like them to make one more expansion to it. Maybe they just haven't figured out what that expansion would be. But it doesn't have to be much. It just has to be something, because I absolutely love this game. I actually got the very super rare Loot Crate promos for this game. Those are so rare, and I won them out in a hard-fought auction. But I am so happy to have them. We put them in our game, and we use them constantly. So now, as being a completist, I like that I have a complete edition of Firefly with all the expansions and everything. But it even got me to watch the entire show and movie again this year. I did all that again just because of probably playing this game so many times. We even played with the big money, which is basically just something nice you can have. It takes up way too much table space. That's one thing. This game is a table space hog. I have to bring out 2 folding tables when I bring it out, but I don't mind doing that because there is nothing better than a game of Firefly. Well, there's 2 other games. I guess they're a little bit better than a game of Firefly, but Firefly is the best pick up and deliver game. Now, I will share with you a house rule that makes it awesome. And the rules, it says you can't do the same action twice on a turn. And my rules, we say you can, unless it's working on a planet. Working on a planet just gives you $200. Obviously, if you did it twice, that'd be the equivalent of working for Harkham. So we just say you can only do that once. But no one ever works on the planet. No one ever takes that action. I can't remember the last time that was used even. And that's only used as a last-ditch effort if you're out of money, you need something. So, but we will let you travel, you know, twice at a time, or pick up twice at a time, or deliver 2 different packages. Because it's kind of stupid that you can't do the same action twice. You only got 2 actions. So that was the house rule that we have, and we absolutely love it. Firefly is just a great game. It's still in print. Go get some of the expansions, or mini expansions aren't in print, which kind of sucks. You have to pay more for those, but just the base game alone is so much fun. I played the base game plenty of times. I'm just wanting to play all the expansions again, but I want to play it with 9 players. If I do that, we may have a new number 1 on my list next year. Anyway, for right now, it's here at number 3. My number 2 is also from Gale Force 9, Spartacus. I love Gale Force 9. Spartacus is a game of intrigue. You are playing, it's got 3 different rounds. The first round, you're playing intrigue cards against or for yourself to help benefit you, or to help or hurt others, mainly people who are winning the game. And you may not have enough power to pull off that card, but you can combine your power with some other house's power to play that card on someone else. And this is what will happen when you do that. This game plays up to 7 players. I did get to play a 6-player game, which is probably why it made it up to number 2, because a 6-player game took us 3.5 hours, and we loved every minute of it. 3.5 hours went by like that. 3.5 hours playing Spartacus. We were not bored. Whoever got the lead, everyone would gang up on him and have him lose honor. And then someone else would get the lead, then everyone gang up on that person. And then you're holding 3 people back. And then it's 3 people fighting. And you try to keep holding them back. Eventually someone's going to win. And if we could have gotten a 7th player, it would have been just madness. But that's the first round, just the intrigue. Second round, you are doing blind bidding. You know, hopefully you've bid enough to grab extra slaves, or extra gladiators, or extra special weapons that can help you in the ring. And then you are bidding to be the host. And that's when you bring a lot of coin, because that can give you a victory point, and let you decide who's battling. And when 2 gladiators are battling, a Festivus 4 gladiators are battling, that's fun. But 2 gladiators battling, you think, well, that takes out, what do the other 4 players do? We bet on a winner. And you can bet. There's several different, you can bet on either or you can bet for a beheading or an injury or whatnot. And the whole time when they're rolling dice, when the 2 gladiators are in the ring, you're sitting there fighting, screaming, go, go, go. It's like you're watching the gladiator match. And you're basically just watching 2 people roll die over and over and over again. But for some reason, that is so exciting. I love this game. My buddy Bernardo from Tabletop Island actually got a blinged out version of this, a stadium that I'm sure he was going to give me for Christmas. It's probably coming in the mail and I haven't gotten it yet. I'm sure he's going to give it to me. But he has the metal coins, which I do need to get metal coins for this game. But this game is just beautiful. It's such a beautiful game. Sadly, Gale Force 9 is reprinting it without the IP. And I agree with much of the criticism. The art is kind of weak looking, but if you want a copy of it, you can get one easily. I don't know how much the original game goes with the expansions, but either way, this game is so much fun. I think Spartacus has always been like number 3 on my list, so Spartacus finally moves to number 2, and who knows, maybe Spartacus will take on number 1 someday. So what is number 1? You guys know. You knew from the very beginning. Twilight Imperium. I love this game. 4X game. It is the game to end all games. It is such an epic game. You will talk about these playthroughs for years. For years, you'll talk about this. And I do have the 3rd edition up here for a reason, because this year, we have only played the 3rd edition. We've played it like 4 times. That's because the 4th edition expansion had not come out now. By the time you're seeing this video, I've probably played 4th edition at least 2 times. I got the expansion in, I read the rules. This expansion for 4th edition is going to kill 3rd edition, I think, for us. 3rd edition, the only reason we went back to playing 3rd edition is my gaming group kept complaining because there's a lot of things in 3rd edition that wasn't in 4th edition. You cannot mix the two. Everyone kept saying, you can mix them. You couldn't. You could not. Trust me, you can't. And so now 4th edition is going to have all that good stuff that 3rd edition had with all of its expansions, and I think we won't be going back to playing 3rd edition again. Now you saw me do a video, there were like 5 things I really missed from 3rd edition that still aren't in 4th edition, and to be honest, if I could grab only 2 of those or 1, I don't know. The preliminary missions, I really like those because it was a way to quicken the game up, because it was a somewhat of an easier goal that you could take and hopefully get an extra victory point to end the game sooner. I like that just because it cut down on the time. And then the second one that I wish they'd bring back is the whole mercenary thing. Not many people use it in 3rd edition. I think we had maybe 1 or 2 people get mercs every time and play with them. So it's not a popular one. It's not a popular what should I say, expansion for the game, but it was one that gets utilized. Now, the other ones would be nice too, but those 2 probably I'd like to see. But I think from here on out, we're all going to be happy playing 4th edition. Because now it has the mech warriors on the ground and stuff, and the special powers of the planets, and just so many. It has even extra aliens here too. So I do think it's called Prophecy of Kings. And oh man, just right now this video, I've only read the rules, but I promise you I've played this game at least once, probably twice, 4th edition now. So, because we knew when this expansion would come out, we'd be playing it. Twilight Imperium, you may not want to buy it because it is a lot of money. I've been giving you cheap options, cheap games this whole time. This one's going to be a pretty penny, but let me tell you, it is worth every cent, every red cent. You should get it. I love it. Or grab it from someone. Is it a 6 to 8 hour game? Yes and no. Yes, if you're playing it for the first time. No, if you know what you're doing. My gaming group can really chisel this down to a 3.5. I think most of our games were 4 hours or less, or just under 4 hours. And that was with 4 players and even 6 players. No, we played a 6-player game in 3.5 hours. We really did. We got it rolling. But that's because we knew what we were doing. That was 3rd edition too, though, just to be safe. 4th edition could go by fast too, and with the expansion, I don't know how fast it will go. But either way, Twilight Imperium is still my #1, and I have no regrets on that. All right, folks, there you have it. That is all my entire board game collection ranked from last to first. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've been here the whole 30-something days, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I can't wait to do this next year. I have got tons of other games that have come in. I can't wait to show you those and review those too. But I will see you next year with another Top 100. Take care.